I'll speak on it. Dynasty, AEW's pay-per-view that happened little over a week ago. Well, almost a week because I'm uploading this on Friday. But other than that, Dynasty happened, and I'm sure that it was a great pay-per-view. Absolutely not too bad of a pay-per-view. Honestly, the matches kind of brought the pay-per-view up again, but it wasn't really the matches that did it for me so much. It was the ending that did it for me. And I'll be honest, I'm just gonna do a short review of what I think was good, so I'll get right to it. Kenny Omega versus Mike Bailey versus Ricochet for the International Championship. Now, I've been seeing a lot on media that it's been a PWG match, and I cannot agree with you guys more. This was, my God, one of the most sane PWG matches of all time. It brought on that independent indies style that we kind of had. I don't know, we kind of had a missing feeling lately, but honestly, another triple threat masterpiece that will go on into the history books for sure. Next up, I believe it was Toni Storm taking on, I forgot her name, but it was her taking on her for the women's championship, and this was a good match. I will say that nearing the end of it, of course, the ending was a small package, which I kind of disagree with. I'll be honest. After all those big kickouts and such, you would think that you would have to be more to put her away, but no, small package. An alright match, to say none the least, just didn't like the ending. The Owen Cup qualifier matches for both women and men. Will Ospreay versus Knight in the opening match was honestly, it's just fun. It was just fun springboard action, and Ospreay can do both. Open the match up, to open the show up. He's just great at what he does, and honestly, that was quite an awesome qualifier match for them. To be honest, he put Knight over, even though he won the match. That sets up Knight in a decent spot in the coming 8 years to come. And in the women's Hart qualifiers, Mercedes Moné versus Julia Hart was a match that, as it went on, got progressively better, in my opinion. I think Julia Hart is improving where she stands, and she was looking pretty decent in this match. Of course, Mercedes Moné taking the win here, but in a bit nearing the end, you were thinking Julia could have brought it back for herself in the end, but in the end, Mercedes Moné advances in the Owen Cup qualifiers. It's time to talk about the ending. Now, before I do that, I will say this. As much as I really let go in my other video about AEW Revolution, I think for what it was, this match was somewhat going on towards the end was great. I'll just give the little praise I have for it now before I go dunk on it. I will admit I expected Death Riders to interfere just like they do in every match, and I'm glad that it didn't go according to plan like I hope like it did for all the other matches. And what it was, the match was up until the interference was going pretty well. It was looking good for him up until interference came, and I'll be honest, I did not expect Hangman Adam Page to help out Swerve, which is a big shock to me. That's what made the match feel like it was more in Swerve's favor, and it gave off a good hope that we would be extracted from moments later. During the lights out moment, it comes to be known that when the lights come back on, it is none other than the Elite who stand there holding Swerve and hit the BT trigger, and Jon Moxley gets a 3 count. Why? Yeah. The Elite were driven out by the Death Riders. This makes no sense in the story whatsoever. And if you've seen my community post tab, you could tell my exact feelings of how I feel about this. And I've ranted about this in multiple videos. I'm getting more and more less surprised as the years go on. Tony, you or whoever's behind the creative management department, you have completely crashed this AEW championship for what it is. Or you crashed the whole world championship scene as it is. If you're really just waiting on Darby Allin to come back from his Mount Everest trip, I think you need to find better temporary options, because this is likely going to be the downfall of the World Championship scene as it stands. And I think for all this time, this keeps going on. I don't even think I want to watch the main event or anything that has to do with the AEW World Heavyweight Championship until it is taken off John. Because I said this before, and I'll say it again, this is one of his least favorable reigns. It's the worst of all of his title reigns. I just want it to come to an end. It's interference at a certain point, or whatever. It's just the same thing. And I think it's starting to get to a point where it's just hopeless. Our only hope, Darby Allin, is up climbing Mount Everest. So really, we're just here suffering until that fateful day he comes back, returns. And I'm gonna be real. I have almost stopped watching AEW entirely because of this. It has not been good. I think John Moxley Death Riders is a crappy stable. It could have been better, but I think for what they're doing right now, it's just bland, and it's starting to be predictable. And I'm really sad for the AEW championship, because that championship, I saw it in a better light like years ago, and it's gone down to this. This is what it's become. I'm honestly just can't right now, and I'm not even disappointed. I'm just more or less just tired of this bull. Check out my videos. STARZ Unite.